Good evening. I am Carol, and this is Enrique, and we are flirting with realities.
This is the new and improved Enrique. I got my hair cut.
Yeah, do you recognize it?
Which, for everybody listening, I know there's a lot of repeat listeners at this point, but we talked about not using soap in the shower, no shampoo in the shower, and every time I use soap and shampoo, like I kind of get like a little cold symptoms. So anyway, I cut my hair this time and got a little bit of cold the day I cut my hair. So whatever, we'll see how it goes.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, what's up with you?
We just got out of the cold bath, so I've got some warm tea to warm me up. I'm a little chilly.
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
It is a little warm up here, which is helpful.
Yeah. I don't know. We're on the third floor. You can see back behind us, but we're like 30 feet off the main floor. So we get all the warmth from the wood stove, which is nice.
He looks different. I couldn't stop staring at him for a second.
You look different.
You do.
10 years younger.
Yeah. He looks younger.
So, what's been happening in Carol Lee's life?
Well, I don't know if I even discussed that I hurt my arm a while ago, and a perfect example of what not to do. I've just kept going, and it's just got worse and worse. So I'm dealing with that little elbow injury going on. Other than that, today I feel really good. I don't know if we want all other deets of my life, but we're working on some new stuff together, and I'm having a ball doing it. And I've also been taking Aaron Doty's Doty, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
His high vibe course. What can I say? He's bringing it, and I'm enjoying every second of it. And today I think was hugely impactful for me. And just when you think life can't get any better, it just goes and gets better.
Yeah. Well, and I think like you're talking about your arm, and I think that's been the message of my life lately is about just kind of going with the flow and like life teaching you like everything's okay no matter what's happening.
Yeah.
Because the last few weeks. Well, why didn't we didn't do a podcast last week?
We had Piper's orchestra.
Yeah, I had to go to my daughter's orchestra. But I think, did we do it the week before that?
Mm-hmm.
Or I thought maybe you were sick or something.
No, we did it no, I think we did it the week before that. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Well, but anyway, I guess my point is that we kind of went through some colds.
Yeah.
And some sickness and had some issues. And the cold was weird for me because the cold that I had really made me not motivated to do anything at all. And I just wanted to be lazy. And it's when I get in that a situation where I'm like that, it makes me worried that I guess that I'm never going to have any motivation again, or that I don't know what the worry is, but
I think you're being hard on yourself.
Well, it's just concerning, not wanting to do anything at all.
No, I get it. Because you're used to wanting to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And so I don't know, I'm just kind of, I guess in life, I'm kind of at the point where trying to be okay with not wanting to do something. But it's interesting because now all of a sudden, like I'm in this vortex where I'm just like, I can't slow down. Like I want to do things all the time. Like I'm super motivated right now, which feels really good. But, I guess that's just kind of where I'm at, is like just maybe being a little more accepting of not being motivated sometimes. But I think there is a fear. I think there is not just me, I think a lot of people. And I know a lot of like, well, I don't know. I'd say like my immediate family, like my dad's side of the family. I think they have a lot of fear of like there's just a lot of pride in that family, which is a good thing. A lot of pride in the family to
No, it
work
is a
hard.
good thing.
Well,
Yeah.
they're hard workers, and they never stop working. And I think it's like contagious, and so everybody in that family works hard, and I get that. But I think there is also a fear of slowing down, and I think that's where I get that. And it's just kind of interesting to look at and think like, well, it's just what you've been kind of leading me through too, is just everything's okay. Everything's okay, and it's okay to not do something once in a while. It's okay, and that's what I guess I'm trying to get at right now, is like it's okay to even have a couple weeks where you're like, I'm not doing anything. I'm super lazy, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to be like in this vortex where I can't stop. And I'm going to be like hyper and keep going, you know? So it's because it'll balance out. But I don't know. I guess at the same time, like there's a lot of people that can't find any motivation ever.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that's my concern, is I don't ever want to be that person.
I mean, I think for you to be accepting of the way things are, well, it's hard to just give advice for someone who's not motivated. I have no idea what their path is or what they're going through. And I wish that they can find their motivation. And I also understand that fear of not wanting to be in a certain place forever. But I've to understand nothing in this life is permanent, and that those times are really okay, and they're probably leading up to a vortex of amazing momentum.
Like,
But maybe it's just time for Eric to slow down for 2 weeks.
well, I guess that's the interesting part, is that a lot of it has to do with who I am, because well, that, like, I don't know, that's the part like I'm trying to figure out in my head right now, is so you have people that are lazy. Do they ever get anxiety about being lazy? You know what I mean? Is that why they're lazy? Because they don't get anxiety about it?
I mean, I think everybody's different in that, like, not everybody who's lazy will experience no anxiety, but I think there is a percentage of the lazy population who doesn't know any better, so they don't have anxiety over it. So there's going to be a bunch of different kind of lazy people.
Well, I guess so. This may be a better question: is what percentage of lazy people get anxiety about being lazy? Do you think? Because if you got anxiety, and then if you get anxiety about being lazy and you're a lazy person, what do they do with that? They just sit in the anxiety? Because anxiety, that's what we talk about a lot, is anxiety is a great thing. Everybody thinks it's a horrible thing. And like, I need to get on a prescription to get rid of my anxiety, or I need to smoke some weed to get rid of my
Yeah.
anxiety. But anxiety is there because there is a problem, and
Well, yeah.
you need to fix it.
Our
Usually.
emotions are our teachers, for sure. So I think trying to suppress them or hide them, maybe paying more attention to them is, I mean, I know that that's helped me immensely, is learning to understand my emotions and not suppress them. But I'm not sure if you can put a number on how many people. I mean, maybe you can, but I think laziness could be in all sorts of forms. Maybe somebody's depressed, maybe they're grieving somebody, maybe they've lost something, they're having a hard time getting out of it.
Yeah.
I think it could just be a lot of different reasons that people could be lazy.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody can hear me like shaking and like a shaking in my voice, but like I'm shivering. Like we said, we
You
just got out of a
sound a
cold
little
bath.
different to me, so I'm sure maybe people
Yeah,
can
it's
hear it.
I'm so cold from the cold bath. Ah, that's weird because you know, get out of the cold bath and you have that weird like dopamine. You have all the
Hmm.
things that are make you feel good,
Yeah.
and it's weird to do this podcast in this moment because I'm kind of like high from the cold bath and like I'm cold and I'm shivering and there's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I guess that's an interesting conversation because it just makes me wonder, like, if I have anxiety about things, like I want to fix them, but I guess people don't. I don't know. That's a weird thing to me. I don't know. We talk a lot about that. Like, I think our life paths. We've pretty much agreed that our life paths are about fixing things, becoming happier, and I guess you just gotta come to terms that there's people that are not on that life path and maybe they have anxiety about being lazy, but they're like, you know, I mean, and I don't understand that. I don't understand how you could have that mind frame, but it's true, I guess.
Yeah. For sure it is.
Yeah. So anyway, I felt really good because I've just been super enjoying getting things done and wanting to do things, being motivated to do things.
Yeah.
Been really optimistic about a lot of things. I don't know. Everything seems to be going pretty good.
Going really good.
All while it seems like a lot of things are not going good in society, but
Yeah.
haven't been paying a lot of attention to that. So I just kind of see it when I go out in public, and I go, it looks like things aren't going too good for these people.
Yeah, there's definitely that going on out in the world a bit.
It was like the one thing that I saw yesterday was, you know, I went to the mall with my kids, and Starbucks has gone out of the mall, and that could mean something. It couldn't mean something, you know, but I think it means something.
It's definitely interesting news.
Well, I think it's interesting for many reasons. I think the mall is going to suffer because that's a major attraction for people.
Huge. People walk in there, just you'll see them just walk from the entrance, get their Starbucks and leave.
Yeah, so I think that's going to hurt the mall,
Yeah.
which I don't know how much more hurt the mall can have. Because this is what we talk about is there's things that like we're laughing about.
The things that don't make sense at the mall?
Oh well, that too. But I was gonna say there's people who are not really aware. Like if you go to the mall, I I like focus on these things, but I know a lot of people don't see them. If you go to a mall, the mall that we go to, they make fake stores. And I
Yeah.
think, I mean, how many people do you think realize that a lot of those stores are fake or they're not occupied?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would notice.
Yeah, so I mean, they have like there should be a store there, but they blocked it off, and then they put a like a lottery machine there.
Yeah, there's that. The cotton candy machines.
They have cotton candy machines,
Sometimes
and
they'll put like they have this one like boardroom looking like a place you can meet, but you never see anyone meet in there. Like it's a
That's like the My Perks rewards or something.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone in there. There's
Well,
several.
the doors are always locked.
Yeah, there's several things that are. They try to make it look like something is there, and it's nothing's there.
Yeah, well, they're like fake stores.
Yeah.
They're fake stores to make it look like the mall's busy. Because if the mall looks dead, then people will just stop going to the mall.
If it looks vacant, for sure.
So there's a lot of those stores already. And then if you lose somebody major like Starbucks, it's kind of like, geez, I mean, how many fake stores can we deal with? How many fake stores can we make up? And then if you don't have like a big anchor like Starbucks or Nordstrom or someone like that, it's like, well, the mall's dead now.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna pull out of this one. They would need like an exceptional coffee shop to move in there.
Which why would you? You know, the mall's dying. It's a dead thing. And it's, Amazon online things, but it's also, I think, I just think there's a lot of money not being spent because even though Amazon online was a big deal, people still were going there like a year or two ago,
Yeah.
So I don't know. The news isn't reporting on how horrible things are going right now. And so it's kind of like people are, I mean, this is what we were talking about, right? Is there's reasonable people out there that are talking about how broke they are. And then the other half of the people are like, everything's fine, we're good, nothing to talk about. And they're like ignoring the problem. But
yeah, you have your people who are willing to be like, yeah, we're not eating out, we're like buying less at the grocery store.
It's worse than that. I mean, like cutting back on things is step one, but I feel like most everybody's saying like, I moved in with my mom. You know what I mean?
You think most everybody's saying that?
I think there is a lot of people. I mean, our neighbors had their kid move in with them.
Yeah.
Here, not necessarily well, I don't know, kind of financial and things going on. I mean, my mom moved on the property with us, my ex lives with her parents. I mean, how many examples do we have? Like, there's quite a few. The girl that cut my hair yesterday.
In Washington, though, because my kids are in Alaska, and they're living on their own.
Your son did move in with his dad for a little bit
after a breakup. I mean, that's different.
It is, but I'm just saying there are. I mean, 10 years ago, you didn't live with your parents.
Yeah.
You just didn't. And now it's becoming a very common thing. And that's all I'm saying is I feel like, hey, I'm not going to eat out as much to save some money. I think that's like a recession. I think I moved in with my mom is like, we're fucked. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We can't afford rent is basically what you're saying. Like, we have to share rent. So I think, like we're talking about, there's people that are like, I moved in with my mom, and then there's people that are like, everything's fine, and I don't want to talk about it, and they might even be ignoring it and still spending money and like run that credit card up, and I don't know. I think there's a lot going on that we're all sitting here going like, there's like a bad feeling, but nobody's talking about it.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But we're fine. We're good. We, keep on doing the hydroponics and the chicken thing. I was thinking about that today, and I was thinking about like if we had to spend $0 a month, I think you got to pay property tax and you got to pay a couple bills, but man, I really feel like at this point I could spend close to $0 on food. Well, I'd have to buy chicken feed and pay for the power of the hydroponics. But other than that, I feel like we could eat for free. Don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe like if you had to, you could buy like a bag of rice.
For
Yeah.
what?
I don't know, just to supplement your vegetables and eggs and stuff. But I mean, like a
Because
bag
we
of
have a ton of bags of rice.
no. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like at this point, if we wanted to really cut our food down to nothing, I literally feel like we could cut our food down to nothing.
I pretty much have, actually.
Well, I mean, I think I have
I'm
too.
eating like once a day.
Or do you feel that way too? We discussed this a while ago, but I was talking to you about hydroponics and how I feel like I just don't get hungry anymore,
Yeah.
and how I feel like
I'm not starving.
well, I'm feeling like it's possible I'm not hungry because I'm just getting so much nutrition that my body's like, I'm just not hungry anymore.
It's the only thing that makes sense if it's the both of us.
Yeah, I mean, because all I'm really doing anymore, well, I don't even know. I've changed quite a bit, but I'm eating like a meal, which is like eating a lot of eggs and vegetables. And then I'll have like a little something else, but that's it. Just not a lot, not being eaten.
I literally am pretty much eating once a day on average. Not every day. Sometimes I eat twice, but
But like we never go grocery shopping. Like it seems like we haven't been grocery shopping forever.
we do go, but it's not like it used to be. We just went like we just went to Winco the other day and picked up a few things. I even forget what they were, but it wasn't much.
Yeah.
Butter, like little things that you use to cook.
But what do you think it was? 50, was it even $50?
No, I don't think so. It was one bag, and at Winco, it was probably $30, $20.
Well, we're gonna have to start paying attention because I feel like, I mean, this. It seems like I'm not telling the truth or I'm exaggerating, but I feel like we've been spending like $200 at the store a month.
It's probably close to
My kids are like the biggest expense.
that. Yeah, I mean, I think when we take them to the store, when we get them, it probably is a bigger expense than if you and I would go alone. But I think I mean, that's normal.
Yeah, we just need to make them start eating hydroponics and eggs, which they're not into it. I tried to give my son a green drink, and I dosed it pretty good with Crystal Light, like pretty good. So it was really,
It basically was a smoothie.
yeah. I mean, it was a super like sugary, not sugar, but it was a super sweet drink. And I'm like, he's like, ah, no, I'm not really into it, I guess.
I don't like the
But,
texture, I think
oh
you
yeah,
said.
but it's like I just wanted to be like, there's so many benefits. Just chug it. Just it's fine. I know it's not your favorite, but just drink it because it's so good for you. It's like, it's not my thing. Like, God damn. I don't know. He's doing good though. I talked to him. I told you I talked to him about not drinking your calories.
Yeah.
And what a good kid. I saw him. We went out on Wednesday, and so for a full week he had one Coke Zero and then a couple sips of like a latte or something. His mom's latte.
No big
But
deal.
that's going from like somebody who's having soda and like Gatorade and Prime, all these drinks to nothing.
What a huge savings, too.
Oh yeah, I mean huge money savings. But like I told him, I think most people that are drinking things like that are drinking out of addiction. It's like I need something. I even get into it with my kombuchas and my
It's easy to
electrolytes,
get
and
into.
yeah, it's way easy that. And all of a sudden, like you start drinking flavorful drinks all the time, and then water doesn't taste good.
Yeah, it's so easy to get into.
Yeah, so I'm pretty proud of him for just cutting all that crap out. And it's like I told him and everybody else is, I mean, that's like number one.
It
If
is.
you're overweight or you're unhealthy, you just cut the sugar out. I mean, you're drinking
Starting
it.
with your drink.
You're
Yeah.
drinking it.
Yeah.
There's zero nutrition in your drinks. Got to get
Yeah.
rid of it.
Yeah. That's one of the easier things to do, I think.
Well, and I guess I don't know. Tonight seems kind of random, so I'll just keep going with it. But I think for anybody who wanted to lose weight or become healthier, and this is where I'm heading with my son, is I told him like let's just start with drinks. Just don't I said don't drink anything but water. And if you're really like having a hard time and you need to like drink something, I said a Coke Zero, something that doesn't have sugar in it. I told him, I said, I don't know that Coke Zero is great for you. It's not a great drink, but if you're gonna break down and you're gonna have a drink, don't make it a
Sugary
Coke.
drink. Yeah.
Yeah, don't make it a 60 grams of sugar Coke.
Yeah.
Like just have a fake sugar, which might not be good for you, might cause cancer. I don't know all this shit, but start with that. Like you get rid of your calories in your drinks. I think, and I told him, I said, let's just do this for like 6 months, and once you perfected this, we'll move on to like candy. We'll move on to sugar. Get candy and sugar out of your diet. Once you got that perfected, now let's start moving on to what you're eating for food. Like let's
It's a
get rid
very
of
good idea.
let's just a step at a time, because I think if you go, okay, today you're going to get rid of soda, you're going to get rid of candy, you're going to eat this and you're going to eat that, and it's like, oh my god, this is so overwhelming.
Especially for a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is what I think you and I have talked about is just make today better than yesterday.
Yeah.
If you had 3 sodas yesterday, geez, just do 2 today. You don't have to like build Rome in a day, right?
Yeah. Baby
Just
steps.
just make today better. And that's basically like what you and I do, I feel like, is we're just trying to increase the quality of our life just a little bit every moment that we can. And that they are baby steps now.
I think about that, and it might seem super extreme to other people, everything we do, but they didn't see like the 15 years that led up to like this point. It didn't just start out like, oh, we just eat healthy. It took us 2 weeks and
Yeah.
we sauna cold bath. It just wasn't like that. It took time and figuring a lot of shit out. And
Well, took time. That took time is that's a past tense saying. But the thing is like my diet is ongoing today. I have been trying to figure out my diet for about 11 years now, and it's still evolving today. And I know yours is too, right?
evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you tweak it here and there, and
of course.
it's not like
I like to play with it. I actually have fun, yeah, playing with it.
well, but I mean, just look at hydroponics. Like, I wasn't really eating a lot of vegetables until whatever this was, 6 months, 8 months ago. And so it's like now it's kind of like, well, this is interesting. Like, I feel like my body has changed, and I think I feel better with this much nutrients and vegetables and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I know when I first met you, you had all these like amazing treats like sugar-free chocolate or sugar-free syrup, and I just didn't do those things, but I was like, this is kind of fucking cool. But now with what we're doing, those things kind of seem kind of processed and
Yeah.
unhealthy. And I mean, the bodybuilding community would like have some Jello, have some sugar-free Jello, have some sugar-free chocolate syrup, but you don't think about where these things actually come from and what they're doing to your body. And I wasn't thinking about it.
Well, and that's what I was trying to tell you is so there's this thing that just came out about foods that are being banned.
Yeah.
And it's Lucky Charms, Flaming Hot Cheetos, M&M's, Swedish Fish, um, so many just mainstream candies that are like, how long have M&M's been out? We're talking about 50 years or something. And
It's probably, yeah.
Yeah, and we're coming to the conclusion, Swedish Fish, how old are those?
I'm
70s at
sure,
least, right?
I mean, all of these are from my childhood.
Yeah, and so they're figuring out like they said cause cancer, which yeah, everything causes cancer, but they said it causes behavioral issues, and it's like all these things, and it's like, well, yeah, like why did it take so
Yeah.
long?
I mean, I think really what we're understanding is just get back to the basics and try to do it yourself because you don't know what you're getting at the store.
Well,
Even with fruits and vegetables.
well, I think we do know what we're getting at the store.
I'm
You're
trying
not
to
getting
like
anything
give it a
good.
soft blow to the
Yeah, well, but this is where I was going with the sodas is like it's kind of how our diets have gone, right? Like you go, oh, I'm going to stop drinking Coke and I'm going to drink Coke Zero, and you're like, okay, well, your life's better. But then all of a sudden you go, maybe Coke Zero is not a good idea either, and so you refine that and you refine that. But that's I think what you were saying is when you met me and I'm like, hey, look, like sugar-free chocolate, you know, or whatever, and it's like, oh, sweet, well, you're not eating chocolate. That's a great idea.
yeah.
But then that's where we're at now is like, well, let's just not eat sugar-free chocolate either because,
Yeah.
you know, or like, let's not eat hot
Well,
dogs
things
or,
we have that protein bar that's made at home that has chocolate, but the point is
doesn't have
it's
chocolate, it has cocoa,
yes.
which is still a little bit processed, but not.
Yes. So we're trying to get away from things being processed and we're making it ourselves.
Well, but I think this is how much we're trying to refine this and make how good we're trying to do this is we're trying to make our food as like an egg and a vegetable. Like I don't even know how it's like how would you explain that? Or like a steak. Like
It's
anything that's
just,
like just a
to
complete
me, I
food.
call it caveman diet. And I used to say I was on the caveman diet because, I mean, I mostly was. But this is like caveman diet on steroids because it's literally our chickens and our vegetables that are being grown at our house.
Well, but that's funny because that's what you and I have talked about is I was asking you the other night, we were talking about grocery store produce. And I was like, think about grocery store produce. And then I think about how like I'm going to tell you that like you can have a salad tomorrow that off our hydroponics, but I'm going to cut it off the hydroponics tonight.
Yeah.
And how you'd be like, no, I don't want you to cut it tonight.
No,
like,
just wait till 2 minutes before I eat it.
Yeah, because lettuce or a salad that was cut even like 6 hours before to me now is kind of like I think I'll just cut some more off there because I don't really want your gross 6 hour old vegetables. Like that's
true.
disgusting. Who wants to eat that? But
Yeah.
how old do you think food is at the grocery store?
It's very old.
A week or two?
No, I mean I think it's older than that. It's frozen and yeah, other things.
I was thinking about that with about a tomato though, and I was thinking about like we all know store bought tomatoes not It's just not good. And I was like, how funny is it that like you can't buy a tomato at the store that tastes good because it's just the process of how to do it is wrong. And we all know this. Like you pick the tomatoes too early, and then because you got to get them to the store, and maybe you're freezing the tomatoes even, and all this stuff. So if you understand that about a tomato, the thing is you probably understand that about lettuce too, but you're not putting it in the same category because lettuce still can taste like lettuce. But think about that tomato. Just because it doesn't taste like it should, it just also doesn't have the nutrients that it should either. So the lettuce doesn't either. Everything has the same process. It's just the tomato is paying a bigger price than the lettuce
because of losing so much flavor. But think
or it never
about
ripens.
the mass production, because I think about that being at a store more often, how quickly the stuff goes and how quickly it's put back. Like, you don't realize think about how much it takes to produce, and this is just one store, all these fucking fruits and vegetables at one store.
Yeah.
And how much is being lost in mass production. It's crazy to think about. And if you could fucking just cut some food off your wall and it's so healthy. I mean, I get space and I get time and inconvenience, but when you're talking about your life, like maybe you're struggling with some sort of health condition or disease, to me, then like it would be worth the investment.
But here's the thing: is there an investment? I mean, because listen,
Yes.
this is what I was saying a while ago. Is I was like, why do we have house plants? Like, why don't you just have food plants?
True. Why don't we?
Well, why don't you?
Yeah, the stevia plant. I mean, why aren't we just selling plants you can eat at Lowe's?
Why would you plant a pine tree in your yard, or why would you plant like some sort of maple tree, or like why would you plant some sort of like arborvitae? Why don't you plant like an apple tree or a pear tree or a peach tree? Why don't you plant a fruit tree? It's like you don't even have to. It's just free food when the time comes. This is what I'm saying. Is like it's the same thing as like in the house. Your house plants. Hey, that's sweet. You have like some vine plant in a pot. But why don't you do whatever you want? You want a jalapeno or something? Like just do a jalapeno plant. Or like you were talking about, like it was a trend when people were growing the upside down tomato plants in their house.
Yeah.
Like where's that? Like everybody could grow their own food, but it's like it's funny because we're so busy being distracted working.
And with other things.
With other things too.
Just think if you didn't do social media, how much time you could have to make your own food.
That's a hilarious thing, right? Is like, so we went to Home Depot and you were buying your rosemary plant. And I thought I was going to like have a conversation with the girl that was checking us out, because she's like, oh man, have you had rosemary on like pork? And I was like, not really on pork, but it's awesome. Like, love rosemary. And she's like, oh, I love rosemary too. And I'm like, do you have a rosemary plant? And she's like, oh no, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. And I was just like, the time? Like,
I'm just buying the plant right now. It takes no time.
Well, but there's this thing that we put ourselves through where it's like, I don't have time for a house plant. Like, listen, if you're going to say you don't have time for a rosemary plant in your house, you need to like sit down and have a talk with yourself, because how much time have you put into that rosemary since you bought it? You potted it, but you didn't need to.
I've barely given that thing any attention.
You don't have to do anything with it.
Yeah.
You're talking about maybe watered it. How long have you had that? Month?
I've watered
2?
it 3 times, probably a month and a half.
And 3 times might be a little excessive, might not.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, how much time are we talking about? You're talking about probably a minute and a half
Total.
in 2 months that you've spent on this plant.
Maybe because I potted it, you'd have to say 5 minutes. It took me a couple minutes to pot it.
But this is what I'm saying is like I don't have the time. And then you're right. And so she goes home and she's playing video games or she's on social media. No, you've got the time. You don't want to.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing too, right? Is like rosemary is awesome. You can add that to dishes. That's kind of a higher level cooking, I think. But I mean, I don't know. Could you grow any of those hydroponics we got going in a pot? I mean, I guess you don't. That's probably the biggest problem, right? Is everybody thinks you need soil.
Yeah, but it's
Because soil is a lot of work, I think, for some things.
talking to people. I've actually been surprised at like the people I've discussed hydroponics with, how impressed they are by it.
Yeah. Well, but here's what I'm saying is I think if you taught people hydroponics, like if you taught somebody like get an old peanut butter container, cut a hole in it, even with just a pocket knife or something, buy a pool noodle, which is $1, and then grow a Swiss chard. Easy.
Yeah.
This is so easy. But if you're
Bok choy is even easier.
bok choy, sure. Kale. Kale would be a great one just for a plant. One like you could let that kale just go, and that thing
Yeah.
would get gigantic.
Yeah.
But now, even if you talk to me and you're like, okay, let's grow a kale plant. So you got to do a seed, and then we're gonna what? We're gonna put it in soil, and then you're gonna water it, and then you got to
You
do all
need a
this.
light.
Yeah, you probably need a light, but it's like if you start talking about soil, it's like even for me, I'm like, I'm not really gonna grow kale in soil. You know what I mean? But if you're
Yeah.
like, but if I showed somebody like kind of what I do with a starter plant, and I'm like, get a peanut butter jar and just put it in the peanut jar, done. That's like you don't water it, you don't do anything, you don't do
You do check
soil.
the nutrients.
Yeah, but I mean, you wouldn't even have to check that for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hydroponics is just it's so much easier to deal with, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's what I would do, I guess, if we didn't have our system, I would just have a bunch of individual pots of just hydroponic plants.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It turns into fun, but it's just weird. I guess everybody's like, they don't have time, and I don't know. I just don't know I don't know what everybody's doing. I don't know what everybody's point of their life is, and
Yeah.
tell you I follow that Alex Hormozy guy.
Hmm.
He's pretty inspirational, but I almost can't follow him anymore because everything he talks about is he's like, if you're not getting ahead, start working on the weekends. And it's like, I mean, if that's what
You want?
if that's what you want, but it's like, man, don't you want to? I don't know, just like enjoy your life. Like, don't you want to relax and?
Yeah. You easily can miss out on your younger years and all of a sudden realize you've spent most of your time working.
Oh, that's what I did.
Me too.
I worked every moment of my life from 18 to probably like 37 or 38.
I worked really hard and I missed out on like a lot of years with my kids.
Yeah.
And if I had to do it over again, I would do it differently.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it
Yeah. I don't
in
know.
many ways.
What would you do differently?
I would require weekends with my children and evenings. they missed out on some time with me and I missed out on some time with them because I was making a living.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting because I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the time I put in, and I guess I wouldn't change anything because the state of mind I was in. But I guess that's what I would need to change is my state of mind. That was
I mean, ultimately, I wouldn't change anything, but I would have preferred to have more time with my kids rather than working.
yeah.
But it is what it is, and it leads you where you are today in this vortex of abundance. So,
Well, I would assume any parent that has grown children, whether they spent a ton of time with them or not, probably wishes they would have spent more time with their children.
I'm sure.
I mean, you know when you see that a lot is the funny thing is like you can watch a lot of moms and they'll have like a 5-year-old kid running around and then they'll see a newborn baby and they'll be like, oh, I wish my kid was still a newborn. And you'd be like, dude, your kid's like 5. Like, so it's like they're already like,
Missing.
well, yeah, they're not paying attention to their 5-year-old because they're missing a newborn.
Yeah, I
And
always loved every stage.
well, and then when their kid turns 10, they'll be like, oh, I wish my kid was 5.
Yeah.
You know, it's like cats in the cradle and the seal whispering. You know, it's like never
Yeah.
paying attention. So
I think it's easy to get caught up in like missing something and lose out on what's in front of you if you're not careful.
yeah. Well, and I think that's to me, that's what life is, right? Is the present moment.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I loved every stage that I loved terrible twos, changing all those diapers. I loved 7, each stage, teenagers, it just was all, I liked it all.
Yeah, it's weird because I didn't understand. I didn't understand like what was happening with 1 and 2 year olds kind of things. I know it sounds weird, but I expected them to like be more mature or something. I don't
I didn't
know.
have that problem.
Well, I remember my son was like 2, and I can't remember what happened, but I was like, hey man, you can't like be crying about all this crap all the time. And I was telling my friend about this situation, and I was like, he just needs to be a man. He's like 2, and I'm like, yeah, he needs to be a man. Like, pull it together, like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still probably do that. He's 10 now, and I probably have like too many expectations of being a man. You
I
know,
think you're a pretty gracious dad, actually.
I don't know.
I think you are.
Yeah. So I think to me that's what life has become is all about the present moment, and I guess that's what I was getting at with that Alex Hormozy guy is he pushes a lot of just I feel like it's escaping the present moment when you're like, well, let's work, and it's like, well, on my deathbed, I'm not going to think about when I worked the weekend.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's just not what it is. But we're listening to Rob Dyrdek too, and I mean, it's like I saying, to each their own, but he was talking about how he used to go get a haircut and he used to walk into the place and be like, I'll pay for everybody's haircut if you guys let me cut line. And they'd be like, yeah, sweet. And then he'd be like, sweet, I saved all that time. And it's like, but the time is what you should have enjoyed.
Yeah.
That's what you missed out on. It's not what can I skip the line to go do something else. It's like I'm here sitting at Sports Clips or whatever, waiting for my haircut. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of joy to be found in the here and now and what you're experiencing.
But I think that takes me back to what I was talking about at the beginning of this is if I'm in a lazy mood, enjoy it. Be in the present moment. If I'm in a abundant, like get her done kind of mood, enjoy that too, you know, because I think it's even easy to overlook that.
It is.
But it's just like every moment, you know, this is what you and I have been talking about. Every moment is okay, no matter what's happening, and enjoy it. But then that brings me back to like, is that true for a lazy person? If you've been like consistently lazy through your whole life, you're not getting anything done. I don't know if you can have that outlook on life. I don't know if you can be like, I mean, well, I guess you do. I don't know. Just be like, okay, well, I'm a lazy person, and I guess I'll just accept that. I don't know.
This is where I think it comes into like I just am I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know what somebody is going through that's lazy and how they got there. So it's very hard to say.
Well, but this makes me wonder about like the determinism because how you know how blessed do I feel that I can sit there and go, I'm just going to enjoy being lazy because I know I'm not lazy my whole entire life. Whereas if I didn't if I didn't ever have motivation, I don't know that I should be saying I can just kick back and be okay with being lazy because I'm always lazy.
Well, I think that's probably what some people are saying. And yeah, maybe it's this is where not everything is cookie cutter. Yeah.
But the thing is what if you were just going to be lazy your whole life, that's just what it is. Nothing you can do about it. If you can't change that, then I think yeah, you just kind of sink into it and enjoy it.
Well, should you be tormenting yourself?
No,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But
Can you improve yourself?
but this is what determinism is I don't believe in free will, but I do believe your state of mind is part of your determinism. So if your state of mind says, I don't care, I'll just be lazy all the time, well, then you're going to be lazy all the time. But what if you are like, I'm lazy right now, but in the future, I believe that I'm going to be a motivated person, then that'll become your determinism. Does that make any sense? Your determinism is based off of your paradigm.
Hmm.
And so if your paradigm is just like, I'm a lazy person and I'm okay with always being a lazy person, don't torment yourself. But what about saying, I'm a lazy person, but I'm going to change this? I'm okay with being lazy, but I'm going to work on becoming motivated.
I mean, I think there's something to be said about finding things in your life that bring you happiness rather than being lazy, eating food that doesn't make you feel good. I mean, you're not going to be living from a place of joy.
Well, that's what it is. And so even when I was not feeling motivated, I was like, well, how do I get to where I want to be? I'm okay with where I'm at, but how do I direct this?
Yeah.
And some of that is like I need to start sleeping from these certain hours to these certain hours. I need to, not keep my phone next to my bed so I'm staying in bed when I wake up. Like what's going wrong and how do I direct that to another place? And then it's like without judgment, I'm directing
Yes.
my
Yeah.
life where I want to go. But I'm fine with where I'm at. But I would like to go over here, so I'm going to
Yeah.
do things that affect that.
Yeah.
So going back to dude or girl, whoever that's like chronically lazy, I guess maybe I'm saying or thinking, be okay with your whole entire past of you being lazy. Be okay with being lazy right now, but direct the future to where you want it to go. Do you want to be lazy in the future? Then, man, you're set. Don't change anything. But if you want to be a different person, just start directing that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a perfect way of saying it.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up for me. So I guess, yeah, it's like, so if you do have a fear, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm being lazy right now. I can't do this. Eliminate the fear. Know that you're in total control and you can direct your life where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Just break it down, but there's no reason to be
Start with
fearful.
baby steps.
Yeah, there's no reason to be fearful. In fact, just enjoy being lazy.
Yeah. And
Because
enjoy the incremental steps of change.
yeah,
Like just making your bed tomorrow morning.
that's it. Yeah. Or maybe it's even something like not as good as that. Maybe
Yeah,
you
smaller.
change your socks.
Yeah. Could be anything.
But then something that you're constantly pushing that I still need to understand a little bit better is that what you resist persists.
True.
So it's like if you're scared of being lazy, the scared part is what will hold you back from making changes to not being lazy. So just enjoy the being lazy part, but say, hey, I'm going to do this small change tomorrow. And
there's a big thing about accepting things the way they are and not judging them, observing them, but understanding that you can change your future. But I think if you come from that resistance place, it makes change very difficult.
yeah. Well, and I think that's my favorite comedian thing that Rodney guy says: if you want to do something, best way to do it is you just do it. That's the only way to do it is you just do it.
Yeah, he's funny.
You can write something down that says you're going to do something you didn't do, but then that's silly because you should have just done something that you were going to do anyway. I don't know what he says. He does it way better than me. But anyway, yeah, that was good. I think I came to a little conclusion there.
Oh, that's good.
Well, we're good. 57 minutes.
Sweet.
So that was felt kind of random. Maybe that was like a cold bath podcast. Didn't make sense. All over the place. Topics.
Cold bath, making baby step changes. Yeah.
How to not be lazy.
Yeah.
And be okay
Why
with
don't
being
you have
lazy.
a plant you can eat in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit random. Makes it fun.
Yeah. What episode number is this? Did you check?
39.
It is 39. 39. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. We're almost at 40.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Well, check us out on YouTube and Spotify and stuff, and guess we'll see you next week.